This week on Inside Boulder News, Boulder Strong. The city remembers the victims and survivors of the tragic shooting 2 years ago. See how businesses can now benefit from new reuse incentives and help the city keep roads smooth and safe. Welcome to Inside Boulder News, your source for all things Boulder. I'm Jocelyn Avendaño. The City of Boulder, along with other community partners, held the second annual Boulder Strong Day of Remembrance this week to mark the 2-year anniversary of the tragic mass shooting that claimed 10 lives, including a Boulder police officer. The Day of Remembrance event honored the victims of the tragedy and offered support to those who were impacted. The event also served as a way for the community to acknowledge the collective trauma and demonstrate its resilience through art and music. Dozens gathered at E Town Hall for the event. The Day of Remembrance event included remarks from Governor Jared Polis, Mayor Aaron Brockett, City Manager Nuria Rivera Vandermeid, and family members of the victims of the March 22nd shooting. Those experiencing trauma related to the tragedy are also encouraged to visit the Boulder Strong Resource Center, located at 2935 Baseline Road in Boulder. The center offers support and healing to those affected by the tragedy and is open to everyone. Inside Boulder News continues with its special Women's History Month segment. Today we honor Clara Savory, who was appointed as Boulder's first librarian in 1895. Her remarkable contribution to the growth of Boulder's public library system has had a significant impact on the community's education and social reform. Let's take a closer look at her story.
Clara Savory is probably best known as being the first librarian for the Boulder Public Library. And she came about that job in sort of a odd way in that she was a widow at the time. She had been living on a farm in Valmont with her husband and her son. Her son died first. He died of diphtheria at age 9. And then her husband died a year later in an accident with some horses. She was a member of the WCTU, which is the Women's Christian Temperance Union. And there was a very strong union in Boulder at that time because there were many women who were interested in prohibition. And their goal was really to try and keep young men off the streets and educate them. And what better way to do that than to have a library? Clara and others organized to create a reading room. In 1895, Clara ended up being nominated to be the head of the reading room. So she had that responsibility before she became the first librarian of the Boulder Public Library. In 1895, the Friends of the Free Reading Room raised about $600 in order to actually hire someone to be the caretaker of the library. And Clara was offered the job. She was in charge of the reading room, but at the same time there was a library board, and those were people in the community who were interested in actually moving the idea of actually having a physical library building built. Andrew Carnegie had created a foundation to support cities across the nation that were interested in building a public library. Our board wrote to Andrew Carnegie asking them the foundation for $10,000. He agreed to give them $15,000. So with that $15,000, they actually bought this lot. The city purchased this lot with the understanding that they would build the first public library. And within a year, the building actually was erected and opened in 1907. When the library opened, citizens moved all the contents of the free public reading room over to this building, and Clara was the first librarian. She pretty much worked by herself for a number of years. She was fairly instrumental in ordering books for the collection. She was the one who was able to arrange for donations to come in from other large collections. She was the librarian for the Boulder Public Library until the age of 69 when she submitted her letter of resignation and she moved to Long Beach, California to live with her sister. I think Clara was important to Boulder's history because she was the first librarian, and I think it's good to know that she wasn't a professional librarian, but that she held that role, and she must have been very successful in her job to hold it for as many years as she did.
With winter long gone, snow and ice melt have slipped under the pavement, creating potholes around the city. Boulder is now asking community members to report any potholes they may come across to keep city streets smooth and safe. Spring brings many wonderful things to Boulder: warmer weather, tulips, and some not so great things like potholes. With snow and ice melting around the city, more potholes are likely to form.
Moisture is asphalt's #1 nemesis. It will get down in cracks and get underneath the pavement. And in the wintertime, we have a real problem in Colorado. We have a lot of freeze-thaw cycles, and that water that gets underneath the pavement will freeze and expand, and that pushes the pavement out a little bit and cracks it further.
These pesky potholes are part of the city's spring cleaning. The city is asking community members to report any potholes they might see.
We try to take a really proactive approach to filling potholes. If we get a report for one, we will go out and fill that pothole, but then we'll also kind of go around in a circle and drive the streets near that to find other potholes in that area.
Pothole repair is part of the city's pavement management program for maintaining Boulder's 300-mile street system in a safe condition. This year, with the back-to-back snowstorms, the city didn't have much time between snowstorms to fill potholes like they typically do. This means that there are more potholes than the city usually has this time of year.
We try to get to them as soon as possible. Sometimes with today's weather, actually, it's snowing outside right now, so we also do snow removal. So that extends the time that it may take. But we try to get them within a couple days. Sometimes it can take a week.
Community members are encouraged to report potholes on Inquire Boulder. All that is needed is the location of the pothole, a description, and a photo if you're able to safely get one. Potholes can also be reported by using the Inquire Boulder mobile app on Android and iPhone. More information can be found on the city's newsroom page. The City of Boulder is teaming up with Partners for a Clean Environment, or PACE, to encourage local businesses to switch to reusable items instead of using disposable ones like utensil cups and plates. This will help reduce waste and make it easier for businesses to follow new compost rules that no longer accept compostable or paper products in compost bins across the Front Range. To help businesses make the switch, the city is offering a one-time refund of up to 70% of the cost, up to $2,000, for buying reusable solutions like dishware, dishwashers, and returnable takeout containers. Businesses need to apply online and show how their solution will reduce single-use items. The application and refund information are available in Spanish too. The city has also teamed up with two companies, Deliver Zero and Our Cup, to provide long-lasting reusable takeout containers and cups to participating businesses. Event venues in Boulder may be eligible for a $1,000 incentive to start using Our Cup services. If you're a business interested in these incentives, you can contact PACE for more information. This is a great way for businesses to be more environmentally friendly and save money in the long run. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of Inside Boulder News. Connect us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe. And be sure to check out the city's online newsroom for the latest city news. We'll see you next time.